MD Prepper here, talking about water treatment options in our low-cost apartment prepping series. We're talking about 4 different options to treat your water in various forms. The most obvious that stands out is, of course, bleach. Bleach is a long-standing and tried and true method of cleaning up your water from bacteria and viruses, etc. Bleach is very inexpensive, very easy to work with. Most bleach now is the concentrated versions. Like you see here, usually has a little strip around the top, yellow usually if it's concentrated. You can still find jugs of the non-concentrated version. Basically, the recommendations for the standard bleach is 8 drops per gallon or 16 if it's really cloudy. Let it sit for 30 minutes and then smell for some chlorine. If you don't smell some chlorine, you may need to retreat it. Wait another 15 minutes and check it again. So the recommendations direct from Clorox, if you're using the concentrated version here, is 6 drops per gallon. If you don't know, if you're unsure which type of bleach it is, or you don't take the time, just use the 8 drops rather. So, good enough. 6, 8. You just want to make sure the water's clean enough to drink. Now, I bought 2 different types of Clorox here, or bleach, should I say. Bought the brand, which ran me about $2.30, I think, at one of the dollar stores locally. And again, the Dollar General, I believe, version, which was, I think, $1.80. These are identical, okay? The same style bottles and everything. When you read them, they have the exact same amount of chlorine, or let me give you the actual numbers here. They are both 8.25% sodium hypochlorite. So there is no difference between the two. Now, from a prepping standpoint, 1 is none and 2 is 1. So I would strongly recommend 2 smaller bottles, okay? Number 1, if you run out, okay, if you only have 1 bottle of Clorox bleach in the house and hurricane or tornado or earthquake something hits, and this happens to be empty because you just didn't run to the store, you're out of luck. Have a second smaller bottle, or whatever, have an extra backup for you. It's cheaper to buy 1 giant bottle, but it's better to have 2. Again, what if there's a leak? What if you accidentally spill it because you're in a hurry or stressed out or tired? I'd rather have a 1/4 bottle of this that I'm using, that I'm not used up, and an extra one in the pantry as reserve, as opposed to just 1 container to depend on. So, cheap enough. Let's call it $5 total for 2 bottles, which is overkill. But a gallon of Clorox bleach, or just concentrated bleach, will purify and clean up thousands of gallons of water. So you're good to go for a very long time. Now, Clorox did recommend on their website only using bleach that's been bought within the last 4 months. Okay, maybe I could always add a little bit more if I needed to. I've got other methods I'm going to show you here in a minute. But people talk about the pool shock, the powdered crystalline form. I wouldn't buy that, at least not in an apartment. It has no extra use. It's only for purifying water. You're going to use this. You're going to be rotating it, especially if you got the smaller bottles and use bleach for your standard laundry issues and uses. I just wouldn't go for the extra cost, and to have that powder around and forget where it's at and forget the concentrations and whatnot. It's very easy to remember. 8 drops per gallon, or 16 if you need to repeat. Simple enough. So bleach, definitely the way to go. Now, you're going to want more than 1 method to get your water clean. The next was filtration, and hold on, let me back up. So we talk about 8 drops per gallon or 16 drops. You need a dropper. You need lots of droppers, okay? People forget about this. These are about $1.50 for 2 of them at Walmart. One of them's got a curved head on it. One of them's your standard straight dropper, if you see that there. These are glass, so they can break, so I would not necessarily just have 1 pack of these. If something happens to fall on this or squish it in a drawer somewhere, you're in trouble. Now, there's other ways to measure things out, but the dropper is fairly easy if you're using variable sizes of containers. So I would have 2 packs or 3 packs of these, and I'd probably store them in different places. I'd have 1 in my main emergency tote, storage container, what have you, probably 1 in the kitchen drawer, and maybe 1 in the bathroom cabinet or something. So don't forget that. Now, sorry. Moving along, talk about filtration. There's a lot of water filters out there. There's tons of them on the market, small ones, big ones, short-term ones, long-term ones. One stands out as the absolute best choice for living in an apartment, small space. Sawyer Mini. 100,000 gallons of filtration, 0.1 microns, for about $20 to $25. Fantastic. Now, this is the Mini, so it is a bit slow in filtering. It's not as fast as some of the other methods out there, But one person apartment, you've already got water stored, etc., you're good to go. 100,000 gallons, you're probably never going to need to replace it. Now, one is done, two is one. I would probably keep one of these for hiking and camping and have a spare one in my emergency box so that I'm used to how this thing works and it operates. Fairly simple. Flows on the back this direction. The one with the cap on it's the end you drink from. The screw cap end here is where the dirty water comes through. Comes with a straw, which is very nice for attaching, put down in a puddle or something like that, or anything else that you're going to draw water out of, just sip right out of it. Comes with a little bag here, squeeze bag that will attach. You can fill this with dirty water and drink straight through it, or squeeze this into a secondary container and keep filling this up again with dirty water to fill up your containers. Comes with a syringe to back flush it for long-term storage. Probably not going to need that unless it gets really dirty water you're filtering in an emergency situation. That's for afterwards. Now, one little caveat, since we're storing bottled water, so we've got a case of that laying around. It depends on the type of bottled water you buy, but the cheaper, thinner bottles, like these right here that you see, have a smaller cap on them. Okay, these are not the standard threads of your standard bottle, so you're not going to be able to screw the Sawyer onto this. So that's sort of a problem, but not really, because you've still got your straw, which will pretty well reach the entire bottom of that. You can pour water out of that into this, etc. We're going to talk about this later. So, one of the major advantages the Sawyer has in the type of apartment prepping I'm recommending is that it fits perfectly on your 2-liter bottle. So if this is how you're primarily storing your water, who cares if you're concerned about this water? Maybe it's been 8-9 months and it's a little cloudy, or you're just questioning the quality of it. Maybe you've let it sit for over a year or something like that. Well, there you go. Pick this bad boy up. You can squeeze through it if you want to. If you don't really want to put the pressure on it, just let it filter through slowly into another container, something like that. Obviously, you don't need to do this with water that you're using for toilet flushing, but for everything else, you can just hook this on there if you're worried about it, okay? So you've got plenty of bleach, you've got plenty of service life in one of these, so why not? As far as these go, like I said, usually around $20 to $25 depending on where you buy them. I found them at Walmart for a very good price. Online on Amazon, just checked tonight, they had a family 4-pack for $70, just less than $70. That's a steal. 4 of them with different color labels. I can't remember all 4 colors, but they're different. If you've got more than one person in your house or your apartment, wherever, give each one of them their own Sawyer. It's worth the price. It gives you some redundancy. And if you've got somebody who's sick and using this thing to drink through a straw, you don't want to drink after them. Now, you got bleach and all that, of course, but it's just a hassle. Not worth it. And again, lets you differentiate between, say, the orange one that I'm using in emergency stash and the standard blue one that I'm using for hiking, camping, or what have you. So one is done, two is one. 40 bucks, you're good. Again, if you've got family members who want your neighbors or whoever else to have them, or family members, anybody, go ahead and get the family pack for 60, 70 bucks. Definitely worth it. So there's filtration. You've got 2 systems. You've got purification with bleach. You've got the Sawyer. You're good, in my opinion, right there. You're probably not going to need anything else, but let's just say worst happens. My third line that I would choose, and a lot of people would disagree with this, is the SOTUS version, which is solar purification with UV light. Basically, it involves taking a clear container. Oh wait, we happen to have a clear container. We have other clear containers once we take that label off of water, and putting it in direct sunlight for 6 hours. Now, of course, this doesn't work in all situations. It may be wintertime and snowstorms and everything else. You may have a lot of cloud cover. You may not have good direct sunlight. But still, something worth thinking about. It doesn't require any extra real energy on your part. You're not burning through your bleach. You're not burning through your filter life, but 100,000 gallons, who cares? Use the thing. Kind of a passive method that works. So you could put this in your car, maybe, if you want to keep it safe and locked away. Put it in the windshield, the dash, line up some bottles, something like that. Even over several days, if you're not real sure about the total amount of light, that'll help. So put these out on your back deck, your patio, balcony, whatever you've got in your apartment, and call it good. You know, if I've got very dirty water, if I don't need it yet, if I've got an empty bottle, I might as well fill it up and sit it on the balcony. Might as well. Why not? Maybe I need it, maybe I don't. If it's drinkable and I don't need it, well, I can still use it to flush toilets. So great for that. Now, the solar method is another reason you don't want to store your water or buy your water in milk jugs. These things are opaque. There are oftentimes other colors of milk jugs, which I wouldn't use because you can't get them clean enough with the fats, but these things have UV protection, usually to cut down on light going into them. So this is not what you want for solar purification. You want this clear plastic. So this is one-time use, or you can fill it up with other water, have to filter it, but doesn't accept the Sawyer. So yeah, pretty crappy tops on these milk jugs generally. They're for one-time use. Use them for that. So finally, the last method I would recommend, and it's the most common I'd say overall that people think of, is boiling your water. You say, well, boiling's the easiest, you know. Just boil your water. As soon as boiling, water's drinkable. That's not the best idea in an apartment. The only way I'd say that's a good idea is if for some reason you're out of bleach, you're out of filtration, the sun's not shining, and you have enough fuel, or you're just in an emergency situation where everything else has been burned through. Boiling water takes a lot of energy. Now you may have a lot of energy, but you know, cooking wise, etc., you may have alcohol stoves and sternos and all of that. But is that really what you want to be doing, is just boiling your water every time, when you can do these methods, which are fairly cheap and effective? I certainly want to keep my fuel for cooking food. Okay. Now, if I'm boiling water to make soup or any type of other thing, okay, that's fine. But just for water, nah. That's probably the last option. Now, if I'm living out in the woods, camped by a stream, with hardwoods all over the place, yeah, absolutely fire is the best way to purify your water and cook and heat and everything else. But living in an apartment, probably not, especially in the summertime. Why would you want that extra heat, you know? It's crazy. Just going to wear you out more. So boiling, if you've got it. If I'm in a winter situation, the power goes out, and you just happen to have a gas stove, well, great, boil your water, cook on it. That's lovely if you have that option. If you've got a gas fireplace and you've got gas still running, okay, that's fine, but I would not count on the boiling just because of the limitations of storing fuel. I'd rather have water and filters and bleach than firewood stacked up or isopropyl alcohol. I'm not saying that's not useful, but this is more practical, in my opinion. There's plenty of other methods we could talk about, but those are the top 4 that you're going to be able to access in any kind of apartment situation or just low cost. So, hope you found this useful. We'll be talking more about water and how to acquire it and transport it, etc. in the future. Also going to be talking about where to store it. Hope you found this useful. Andy Prepper out.